Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Rebecca Danger, and a little bit about me. I'm an artist, author, sewer, knitter, quilter, jewelry maker, toy maker. I do a little bit of everything. I'm very creative. My past, I've written 5 knitting and sewing books published through my publisher that's no longer in business, and I have just about 200 published patterns for knitting and sewing at this point. So I also paint. I've also shown my work in galleries. I also do digital illustration and sell happy art that's all digital with really positive stuff. And I don't like to label myself as any one category, textile artist or anything like that. I just like to call myself a creative because I've lived a very creative life and just done a little bit of everything. So I decided to start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna do a couple different kinds. I'm gonna do a weekly creative journal that's kind of scenes from the studio and what I'm working on each week, so you can see kind of what I'm doing. And then I'm also planning on doing some tutorials. I have a studio that's a separate building from my house. We moved in here a couple years ago, and so we have a house across the driveway, and then I have a big whole building that's my studio now, which has been really wonderful. And I've just been kind of getting moved in, and it's been fully a painting studio and fully a watercolor painting studio. And then recently I've switched over and I'm back to one of my deep loves, I'm realizing, of sewing and quilting and playing with fabric. So I thought I've been really focused on trying to sell stuff and do stuff in my local community, but I decided it's time to get over myself being on camera, which is a challenge, and put this out so a broader audience can share in my creativity and what I'm doing all the time. So scenes from the studio, I think I told you that. Some of the other reasons I'm starting is I feel like there's a lot of negative content out there. I am horrible about only watching murder documentaries on all the streaming services. And so, I truly believe in what you put in is what you get out. And I definitely feel more positive not watching murder shows all the time. So I've come across a couple other YouTubers that do similar things recently, and they've felt really inspiring. And I was like, well, you know what? I think it's time to just share your story in the same way, my story in the same way. So I definitely think from the last couple of years here of painting and getting works in galleries and that kind of, fine art side of it, what I've come to feel is that the story behind the art and behind the making is really what matters. And so what better way to do that than share a creative journal every week? So some of the other things, I'm just looking at my notes, is I know lots of people don't have time to be creative like I do. And so I'm hoping, even if you want to be creative, but you don't have that much time, maybe you could watch something my making in the background, and it would help inspire grabbing some little snippets of time, or, I don't know. I don't want to make myself out to be something I'm not, but I certainly think if you're putting creativity in, if that's what you're watching and you're focusing on, it's going to make it easier for you to create when you do get a few minutes. So let's see, I also believe art is good for you, creating is really good for you, and I think even just watching creativity is good for you. So that's some of the reasons why I decided to just go ahead and start. And I've also just started a podcast with a friend, my best friend. His name's Tom. And so we just put our first one of those out. Or no, I'm sorry, it's coming out this Wednesday. And so it'll be out by the time you see this. And I'm going to have to get that kind of timeline figured out. And so on that, it's called My Art is My Voice. And we'll be talking a lot about art and creativity and blocks that come up, and just creativity and art and creating as a whole. We just filmed the first episode yesterday. So, all right, so today is Monday, and it is the morning. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Yeah, it's March 23rd, and I am I have a full day today. I am meeting some artist friends for lunch, and then I have some errands to run, and then I'm going to the Whatcom Art Guild meeting tonight and meeting a couple other artist friends there to watch the featured artists speak. So I probably won't get much done in my studio today. I will probably I have English paper piecing hexagons that I'm just loving right now. And maybe loving's not the right word, maybe obsessing is the right word. I'm obsessing over them, and I'm doing them in multiple sizes. Anyway, it's a really fun handwork project that just lives next to my couch in the house, and I can just pick it up whenever. And I have kids and dogs and a husband, and I just seem to end up waiting a lot. So it's fun to have just a project in there. So I think that's probably all the creativity I'm going to get to today, because I'm running around. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, I also have 3 social engagements booked, which is more than I normally do. So we'll see how I get through this. But yeah, so if I get any English paper piecing done, I'll come show you tomorrow. And otherwise, I just take you along with me and check in each morning, and yeah, we'll figure this out as we go along. So hopefully you enjoy seeing it, and the first video is always the hardest, and I've gotten it done. So yay, let's go run errands and lunch and do some art, and now I'm just rambling. So all right, just come along, we'll see how it goes. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 24th. And let's see, I thought I said yesterday I had a bunch of stuff going on, and I thought I'd at least get some English paper piecing hexagons done. And then sure enough, while we were at the guild meeting, my phone kept buzzing in my pocket, and I was like, what is going on? But I didn't check during the meeting, so I checked afterwards, and it was Puget Sound Energy telling me, so the shop, studio, and the house are on 2 different there are 2 different accounts on the energy company. And so PSC had texted me the house was out, and it had texted me the GARG was out. That's what it calls the shop, is our address and then GARG, because I think it's garage, but we like to call it the GARG because it's funny. And so they had texted twice, and then my husband had texted and said, oh, our power just went out. And then we're out in the county. We're not we're actually closer to a grocery store than we were in our old house, but we do not have cell signal here. So if the power is out, we do not have cell signal. So he had texted me first thing that it had gone out, and then he texted me, I'm not sure my I'm not sure my messages are even getting through. And so and his got through, but then I had texted him back and I didn't get through. Anyway, long story short, I guess, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. The power was out, so I did not get even any hexagons done, because it said it would be back on at 10:30 at night. And so we hung out and just chatted, and my husband and I, and put the kids to bed. And we have good lanterns from being here a couple years. We know we've lost power up to over 24 hours here, but we hadn't actually all winter this year, which is funny that the first week of spring the power goes out. We're ready for it during the winter. So it said it would be back on at 10:30. It was not on. And then it texted again and said it would be on at 3:30 in the morning, but it came back on around 1 a.m. So yeah, no crafting due to no electricity yesterday. So I have another busy day today. I have coffee with a friend this morning, and then I have a phone appointment, and then my weekly quilty Zoom is tonight with my quilty friends, which I don't know that I've mentioned yet. So I do Zoom once a week with some friends. They live in Idaho and Utah, and we get on and we chat, and we've been doing it for years, and it's always a highlight of my week. So that's tonight. And Normally we do it Wednesdays, but we're doing it Tuesday this week. So I have that tonight. So I'll get some sewing done with that, and then I'll have a couple hours in the studio this afternoon. So I have a bunch of doll quilts. I don't think I said that yesterday. I have a bunch of little cute patchwork doll quilts that I have already, they're all tops are sewn. I found backs, I ironed the backs. This is what I was doing last week. I ironed it all, pin basted it all with some batting. I just used scrap, laid it over each other, and so I think I have 6 or 8 of them, and so they're ready to get quilted and bound, and that's going to be one of my major focuses this week. And then I have another quilt that I want to get the binding on too. So I think I'll probably get some quilting done on the doll quilts today. I don't think I'll get them all done, but I'll just take you along with me and see how we go. Now that we have power, who knows? I could get all kinds of stuff done. So yes, I'll take you with me. Let's go get some quilting done, and I'll check in with you again tomorrow morning. Hello, it is Wednesday, March 25th morning, and we just ran and picked up a grocery order, and I'm excited that I don't have any obligations today and I just get to work in the studio. We are working on getting the first podcast up for my new podcast that I did with my friend Tom, and that is coming out today. The podcast is called My Art is My Voice, and it'll be out every Wednesday, and you can find us on YouTube, and we're working on Spotify and Apple podcasts. I'm not good. I don't listen to podcasts, so this is all new for me, but it's very exciting, and I think it came out great, and I'm really excited to take our conversation out to a broader audience that we've been having. So you can go and listen to that and find out more. Let's see, I am going to, so I got almost all of the baby, or not baby, but doll quilts finished quilting. So I had 8 and I got 6.5 finished. So I'm going to go finish those first, and then I think I'm going to, I need to do bindings. I have binding for one pre-made, and I had another binding for a quilt that I started, oh gosh, probably in 2022, and it's 2026 now and hadn't finished. So, and it's a Christmas quilt, which is almost even worse. But when I've been grabbing out all my sewing stuff here recently and redoing the studio, I could not for the life of me find the binding, but I finally found it. So I'm really excited to get that finished because it's just been sitting there for a while. So I am going to go work on the podcasts and the quilting, the doll quilts, and then hopefully I'll get bindings on, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'll take you with me, and yeah, I hope you enjoy seeing what I'm working on.
Okay, so I didn't plan on doing this, but when I was in the house earlier, I'm working on some little hexies, and I have all these that need centers, and then like this one only has 3 from some vintage sheets. So I'm going to cut a few more little squares of fabric so I can work on this in the house tonight. And I have my quilt ready to take in and weave the ends in, or bury the ends, knitting, quilting, yeah. And my laptop to take in because I forgot to do some homeschool reporting from last week. So I only have a little bit of battery left on my phone, so I'm gonna film a little bit and then I'll be back with you in the morning.
Good morning. It is Thursday, March 26th, and I've just spent a little bit of time in the house working on some hexagons, so I have some stuff to show you. I have been working on these little hexagons quite a bit, so I brought these are a smaller one. I have some bigger ones I've been working on, but I'm loving this tiny size, so I did not get these all done last night. I'd already gotten these done, so I'll just show you. It's a cute one. Has little rainbows, and the fabric line was called escargot for it, so it's got little oopsies snails in there. And then I just have a handful from fabric scraps that I've been working on. Orange and blue, strawberries. I love anything strawberries, so there's a little strawberry one. And then so those I'd already gotten done, and then these I finished last night. I had already put the centers in, so I was just stitching around the flower. So there's a little red one, hearts on anything, also polka dots, all my favorite things. Butterflies, I love this butterfly fabric. It's a Heather Ross, and I love everything Heather Ross fabric. Cute little floral, more hearts and rainbows. Yeah, pretty much sums me up. So I have those I finished up last night, and then one this morning, and then I brought these in so that I would share them. I got bindings on 2 quilts yesterday. One baby quilt, or no, not baby. I keep saying that. Doll quilt. Small quilts are baby quilts, right? No, it's a doll quilt. That would be a tiny baby. So there's one. You could do it as a little ball hanging too. It's cute. I don't normally do a scrappy binding, but this one was. So I got one of the joins. I think it's this corner. No, it's not. I could probably find it. Oh no, maybe it is. It's this corner. The join of the binding was right on the corner, so my sewing machine did not like that. And then I finished this. It's a Christmas quilt that I made a couple years ago. And like I said, I lost the binding. It's cute. It's got little trees on it. And then I did on the stitching for the quilting. Let's do a more contrasty. Like little, can you see like little Christmas lights or ornaments on there? I did little squiggly, like lights, I think is what I was thinking. So I'll take a better picture of that one and add it in the video. So, oh no, I can't remember what I was saying. That's great. This is the quilt that I had it quilted, I had it squared up, I'd already cut down the excess, and I'd made the binding, and I could not find the binding anywhere. And then I found it just a couple days ago, so I was like, I am getting that one done because it was driving me crazy not being able to find the binding. So let's see, we have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, and with my son, nothing's up, it's just a routine thing. And then so I'm going to get some sewing done this morning. I need to make bindings for all the other doll quilts. I think there's like 6 more, and maybe 7. And I don't have bindings for any of them made. This one I already had the binding made for. And let's see. So that's probably all I'm going to get done today. We'll see. I'll take you with me. I was thinking about getting creative with matching fabrics. I put all my fabrics on my shelf recently, and I was like, well, maybe I'll grab some fabrics to match the quilts with, but I think I'm just gonna go with stripey bindings because that's what I like to do on baby quilts and other quilts, but baby quilts specifically, there's some I've been making recently that they're all just a stripey binding, and they're similar to those doll quilts, so I think I'm just gonna do a stripey binding. But I'll take you with me and let's see what we can get done today. And yeah, I think that's it. All right, let's go sew. Good morning. It is Friday, March 27th, and I just dropped a kid at school and ran down and picked up dog prescriptions. So, you know, already out and moving around. Then I got in and showered, and we're having a 12-year-old birthday party here tonight. So we'll have some extra kids, and we're going to do pizza and movie. We do movie night on Fridays as a family. So we just have extra kids for it this week. So I ended up actually getting way more done yesterday than I was anticipating. I was videoing last night and I ended up not getting all of it because my phone battery got down to 5%. I've been on my phone for recording. So I finished all of the doll quilts. So I have them in here to show you. I had already shown you that one, this cute little, let's see, somewhere to set this cute little one. This is, whoop, squeaky chair. This was leftover scraps from a rainbow quilt that I was writing the pattern for and never finished the pattern and never finished the quilt. Maybe next week we'll work on the rainbow quilt that this is from. This was all the little leftover corner triangles from the rainbows because you I'll show you. Oh, well, I have my tote bag pattern out that's vacuum. So I just sewed them all together. And then this is just, again, been hanging out since like 2021. And then I've been doing bigger versions of these. They're these cute like I Spy patchwork. They're 3-inch squares. And I've been doing these cute baby blankets of them. I'll show you some at some point. But I did a bunch of little doll quilt versions. So I have a blue one, little whales and sea life on the back. I finished that one yesterday. And then let's see, I got this cute little black and green one that I'm showing you upside down. There we go. Got little eggs with faces and veggies with faces. Cute little sparkly, that's gold, sparkly arrows on the back. And let's see, pink and yellow's one. Got cute, oh, that one looks cute on the camera. Oh, I'm squeaky. Lots of little ladybugs and flowers and chicken. Rainbows, of course, and then cute rainbows on the back. Got a bunch of these, so let's see if that's right side up. Nope, again, maybe my whole stack's upside down. That would make sense. Another cute pink one, little nesting dolls. Strawberries are my favorite. There's a flying Pegasus unicorn. This is Beauty and the Beast fabric. Turnips, love letters, cute stuff. Oh, and cherries on the back. And I ended up just going with a stripy binding for everything, and I think they look cute. So greens, puppies, bears, campers, strawberries, foxes. I love this back. It's got these cute like homesteady with the llamas and the chicken and the bee boxes, and there's even like little the bees buzzing out of the box. I just think that one's really cute. I love fabric though, if you can't tell. Yellow, here we go. Eggs and wait, yep, there's eggs. Ants on a picnic blanket, tomatoes, a little bit of Heather Ross, a little bit of Ruby Star fabrics. I think that's an Allison Gloss fabric on the back, if you know fabrics. Oh, and last one is some more pinks because it's my color. And pretzels, cats. I mean, they're just cute. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them at this point, but they're done, so that's good. So I don't really know what I'm going to do in the studio this afternoon. I'm going to get some time in before the birthday party descends for sure, but we'll see. I had a few takeaways from the week. I should probably finish saying I'll just kind of maybe get some stuff together to work on next week in the studio this afternoon, so I'll take you with me for that. But some of the takeaways from this week, it was interesting working on these last night. Definitely, since there were like 8 of them or whatever, I felt like I was getting more confident and more, it was a really good skill builder to do the same thing over and over, which I think is a big part of why I like to do that in the past. It seems like I never do one thing. I was saying that the other day too. I never do one thing. I seem to obsessively do things. So I love that this channel's kind of opening it up so I can do that and maybe not look like such a weirdo, or maybe look like a bigger weirdo because then I'm broadcasting it to anyone who wants to watch. But that's a different story. So so one of the big things from this week was creatively was I really enjoyed doing it over and over, because I was measuring. I always measure on the corners for my 1/4 inch for the nice mitered corners. And if I try it, it's funny, for most things I just wing it, but on these, on binding corners, I have to measure, or I'm way too generous with my 1/4 inch. So I definitely, by the end of doing these, I wasn't having to measure it in the same way, which was nice. One of the other things I know in the past, I was thinking about how I got really good at knitting because as a senior in high school, I decided I was giving all my friends a knitted blanket as a graduation present. I mean, I don't think most of you probably don't think like that, where you're like, I'm going to make a blanket for everyone. Or maybe you do, and that's wonderful and welcome, and we should start a support group. But I got really good at knitting when I knit like 10 or 12 full-size, like throw blankets for all my friends graduating from high school. And at this point with knitting, you know, I've gone on to write books and stuff, but I can watch a subtitled movie and not even, and just keep knitting. I don't have to look at my hands to keep knitting. So doing it over and over is a good way to get good at it. And I had been good at the quilting, but I've not done any sewing for a few years. So it makes sense that it's taking a little shaky getting started again. One of my other big takeaways this week that was a big surprise and actually quite delightful and has left me in a much better mood is I found, so most of what I've filmed I've just done on my phone. I have a nice camera too, but that felt too, I needed it easy. And I'll talk about that as we go. And on our podcast, we'll probably talk about that too. I like to make things easy to show up for because that's how I'll show up. So I've made my filming setup really easy. I just have a little stand and my phone clips in it and I can take it around the studio. Anyway, I already have something else to come back to that I totally rambled off of before, so I will not do that. I've made it easy with my phone, but then I'm not able to watch a documentary or anything else while I'm filming because it's filming. So I just had music playing on my phone while I film, which it's fine with. And I tell you, I feel like I'm in a better mood, and I just think I think all that extra commentary and for me can be challenging to process when I already have chatty kids and, you know, all of that, and dogs barking and all of what it entails. Anyway, that's getting very rambly, but I've noticed that just listening to music while crafting has been really good for me this week. So speaking of rambling, I was just putting, since it's Friday, I was starting to put a bunch of the videos that I've captured this week into a folder because my husband, Mr. Danger, is going to help me put it all together. He's helping with the podcast and he's helping with that right now. And so I was putting it all together and I was rewatching the first video in case I wanted to redo it, which I didn't. And I was realizing in it, I was saying my studio is separate from the house and I've been moving it all around. And I realized I didn't finish what I was saying before that. So my channel, I'm planning on doing videos like this where it's just a weekly creative journal and you can kind of see what I'm working on right now. And then I'm also planning to do some tutorials because in moving everything both to the house and then throughout the studio, because this has pretty much always been the office, but I had different stuff on the shelves. I put the fabric up recently, and then there's a room next door to this that became the storage room. And now that's the podcasting room. So then everything that was in there had to move upstairs to now what I'm calling the storage attic, and then all the sewing stuff. Anyway, lots of moving. And in the moving, before I forget, I've come across so many projects and things I've made and classes I've taught and so many things that I'm excited to take some of those and turn them into YouTube videos. Maybe instead of like my thought is instead of like the written PDF patterns I've been doing, maybe share some of them on YouTube as like a tutorial pattern. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, so as I get more comfortable, as I kind of figure out the flow of what I have time for, I'm going to start pulling some of those projects out and hopefully starting to make tutorial videos. So I do want to ask too, I think this is probably going to be one of the last videos for the week. I was realizing in sewing the dog quilts, I definitely can show, like, I was just doing video of what I'm working on this week because I wasn't sure, the rambling, right? You don't need to hear me ramble all the time. So if you're interested in like what kind of quilting I use and what kind of machine I use and like why I do the straight stitching and why I choose the stripy bindings, how I do the binding, a friend of mine a couple years ago told me about using Elmer's school glue to, when you press your binding over, and that locks it in, and then you don't have to pin, you don't have to put the little clippies on. And at first I was horrified, like, why would you put glue on your quilt? That seems like the worst idea ever. I told her that too. And then I was working on a smaller, I think it was a wall hanging, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this because yeah, the school glue is designed to wash out. So I tried it and now I'm a complete convert, which I've also told her. And so I'm happy to do, I know there's tutorials out there on quilting and probably, I'm sure, on the glue, because that's how she found it, and like mitered corners on quilts and all of that. So, you know, that's part of why I haven't done like a video, is I'm like, well, there's a lot of stuff out there. But if you're interested in it, and if you're interested in my way of doing it, I'm happy to do videos like that. So just, you can comment and let me know if there's something. You can email me and let me know if there's something you want to see. Because ultimately what I've come to realize over the years of making, I think I definitely used to follow the rules more, and I am naturally a rule follower. But I think that at this point in my life, and after all the experiences I've been through, I think we have to do what works for us and why, you know, what we like to do. Like, I was stitching on the corners of the miters on the quilts yesterday, and I was like, I think some people will think that's wrong and you shouldn't do that. And that's great. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I'm just at the point where I do things how I like to do them. And so that's why I'm happy to share with you how I'm doing it. But let me know. So, you know, I probably, let's see, tomorrow we have to pick up paintings from the Jansen Art Center. We have a gallery show going on right there, or right now, and tomorrow's pickup. And then probably gonna actually like take Sunday off. And then tomorrow we have, I think we're recording our podcast tomorrow too. So I think I'll just leave you with a few more things for this week, a few more pictures of in the studio. And yeah, this is probably the last video. So I'll just say thank you for watching, and I'm excited to be here, and that has been made very clear this week. I really enjoyed filming, so I'm hoping you enjoy watching, and I would love to know what you're working on too. So if you want to leave me a comment below and tell me what kind of creative things you got done this week, I would love to start that crafty, creative, arty, whatever conversation with you. And yeah, I think one of the things I think I missed earlier was, I hope that maybe with these videos, you can feel like you're creating in my studio with me. And, you know, that's certainly some of these other YouTubers. I feel like I'm in their creative week too, and I really like that. So I don't know. Here we go. I think I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you next week. All right, so I'm just out in the shop, and I was talking about that rainbow quilt this week. And so this is half of it. And I have, this is the back, this green, and it's already sewn and wide enough. And then this is going to be the binding on it. So I think that I am going to work on getting the binding cut and made into binding strips, and then get this all ironed up because it's been set and folded for a couple of years now. And then get it basted and ready to get stitching on next week. So that's what I'm gonna finish up with this afternoon. And again, thanks for coming along on this first video. And I'll see you Monday, and I'll get started on this quilt. So bye, see you next week.